Things just got real for this Montreal Canadiens prospect pool as Montreal has been making trades to bolster the depth on offense and on defense. It raises some serious questions and some major decisions have to be made by Kent Hughes in the front office as to which prospects will stay and will go. We're going to break down which prospects we feel are likely to be moved at some point in the future, but it's not just that. Speaking of prospects, we got to talk about LJ Mooney showing off at the IC 3v3 tournament right now, and also, oh, look at that dangle, and also Ivan Demidov among some other Habs on the ice today, once again dazzling, and there was a very interesting name who joined them out there. We got to break down all of this coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. And Jesse, let's start with Ivan because I thought this was really cool today. As Marc-Olivier Cook said here on Twitter, here are all the players on the ice this morning. We've been seeing a lot of people out there. I think Nick Suzuki's wedding or something is going on. There's people talking about that, but anyway, all the players today: Laine, Suzuki, Demidov, Caufield, Slafkovsky, Carrier, Newhook, both Xhekaj, and Tyler Toffoli, which is really cool to see Tyler Toffoli there, Jesse. But yeah, I mean, every single day turns into, you can find clips of a bunch of different guys around there, Toffoli skating, shooting, but it's Demidov who always stands out, and I feel like we could just talk about these highlights every single day. But now, instead of watching him do this stuff over in Russia in a game, we're just watching him do it against his peers, against the best players that the Habs have to offer, and I find that really, really awesome.
For sure, and in doing so, he's looking like just leaps and bounds better than everybody. And again, these are our Habs players. We love them, but we have to say, like, Demidov is just looking absolutely unreal right now. That creativity, like that stick to skate type dekes, like that's one of the things we like the most about Demidov is like his willingness to try new things and be creative on the ice, Josh. And I think Martin St. Louis is just salivating at the fact of having a guy like Hutson and Demidov for a full season with that creativity combined and what that can really do on the ice. Again, like, just such a joy because Demidov is just so unpredictable on the ice of what he can do. And definitely from these clips here, Josh, I know you're probably feeling the same way. Like, one of the things that's standing out is really like the playmaking is absolutely unreal right now. But like just how fast he's looking, how dynamic, and then really like how skilled he is. Like you have to feel like just looking so slippery with the biscuit right now. Like the talent is just through the roof. Like every time we see a clip from him, we're seeing something that we didn't see before. He's looking better than he did, and obviously he's at the rink all the time. We're seeing these improvements right now, and it's really for that reason, Josh. You have to feel that the Calder campaigning for Ivan Demidov has already begun.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, look, he's the favorite, I believe, right? There's so many amazing things to see here with Ivan, and yeah, I mean, look, you can pick and choose pretty much any single highlight of his, but it just is cool to see all these guys back on the ice together. Like we talked about the other day, how cool it was to see just the group of guys, but both Xhekaj out there today with Newhook, Carrier, and the whole top line. It's just really awesome to see this stuff. Leave your thoughts on this down below. We'd love to see Ivan. We'd love to see all this stuff going on. It's just amazing to watch this. But, speaking of amazing to watch, there's another Habs prospect who was making the rounds on social media today because at the Ice Castle 3v3, Jesse, a little guy, Little John, in fact, LJ Mooney out here, pulling off some nice moves. Now, he was mic'd up. There's some funny clips, and for full credit to IC Hockey, and I just included this because whenever we're talking about LJ Mooney, I like to include stuff to him being physical, even though he's like 5'7". But I'm going to link the original post where I found these videos down below as well. Jesse, talking about Mooney, a lot of people are already saying, one of the steals of the draft, but it's cool to get to see him as well this summer. Like, I feel like it's not often, maybe this is revisionist history, but like, I feel like it's not often to see some of our prospects, especially ones drafted this year, out there on the ice, showing off, seeing what's going on. We're even seeing some Habs players on the ice at practice, Habs players playing in like this other tournament around Montreal that Carrier and Veleno are in. LJ Mooney, Jesse, again, looking at these stats, just a reminder for the people that it's been a while since we've seen him. I know Hockey Junkie loves LJ Mooney. He's talked about him a bit too, but like 28 points in 26 games in the USHL, 51 and 51 in the National Development Program, 11 points in 7 games with the under 18, and watching him pull off these moves, Jesse, again, like every day watching Habs prospects just feels like a treat, and I love that we're seeing this in the middle of the summer just to remind us, remember all of the top prospects that we have that we'll be talking about, maybe even trading some here coming up in a minute. There's even more coming up in the pipeline, and Mooney is just one of them.
For sure. And he's just a little guy, but I mean, with so much personality, obviously so much skill, there's a reason why he's quickly becoming a fan favorite here in Montreal. And really, it's kind of no wonder why he's fitting in with the organization so well. Kind of feels like a Cole Caufield just for like the fun and that he brings to the rink as well as the skill. But obviously, he likes to bring a little bit of that physical side of the game as well. So again, just so he just really feels like a perfect fit here. And you have to feel, Josh, like this player, for whatever reason, he's just got a certain it factor about him. For sure, we know the size and he's going to need to work on the strength, but like The willingness is there. He just seems to fit in perfectly with this organization. Like, for me, he's just having like all the makings of an impact player for on an NHL team. I don't know if that works out exactly with the Montreal Canadiens. We'll need to see. Of course, we like this player. We just need to kind of have that right fit of players within the top 6. But Josh, like, one thing that stands out is like, not only the dangles that we're seeing like in some of the clips here, but it's also like the speed that he's executing on a lot of them. And that's one of the biggest indicators is how can they adapt to the speed of the game. Players that can execute and think very quickly on their skates often progress and become impact players at the next level. So that's one of those most important things. So while LJ Mooney, he's had to fight against a lot of the odds throughout his career, we know he's just going to bring that great personality. Like, his goal is not only to make the NHL, but really become an impact player. So again, just loving this pickup. We were looking for that top 6 talent, and we might have found a little bit of a hidden gem here in LJ Mooney.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like the talent, I feel like, a lot of people were like, wow, how did he slip? How did he slip? It's just the size. It's a matter of putting that talent together at the NHL level, using that foot speed, using those dangles. But it's fun just to watch him because he's a fan favorite already. I know you love him. We love him. Leave your thoughts on him down below. Really, really cool to see him out there skating around doing this stuff too. But, Jesse, we talk so much about prospects, and we know that this iteration of the Montreal Canadiens, we're coming out of the rebuild right now. So, these moves that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton have been teasing for a while, they're already starting to happen. Trading prospects like Logan Mailloux for another young guy who fits the team better. We're talking about moving some prospects for higher up guys in the roster. 2 first-round picks, which you could easily count as prospects, to land Noah Dobson. So when we're looking at the landscape here, the Habs front office has to have some serious decisions, but also, like, it just got really real for a lot of these guys. Guys like Joshua, Owen, Beck, and a lot of these other guys, because they know that this roster is just getting deeper ahead of them, and they have to prove themselves. And when we're looking at the list of guys here in the pool, these guys, it's just Puckpedia. These are the 3 that they have as reserves on the Montreal Canadiens team here. Breastbox, Kaiden, Roy, and Struble. Again, Struble is not officially signed yet. His ARB date is in 11 days, I believe. So it's coming up soon. But also, Jesse, just looking at the AHL lineup, you have guys like Owen Beck. You have guys like, Florian Xhekaj. I know we have our opinions on him. I don't think he's getting moved. But like Sean Farrell, the former Hobie Baker nominee. Jared Davison, who was like second on Laval in goals this year. Tyler Thorpe, a big guy. Riley Kidney hasn't quite gotten it together yet. Filip Mesar, a former first-round pick, not to mention some of the defensemen. When we're looking at this team, like, I know we each have our opinions of some guys that are more likely to be traded. Like, when we're making a big move at some point soon, it's either going to be for, like, we're going to have to include some prospects, and it's probably going to be some prospects that don't have a clear path ahead of them in this system, just like the Logan Mailloux trade, or we could have prospects say, I don't see a future for myself in Montreal. Maybe I'd like to move. Do you think one of those 2 avenues is maybe more likely? And do you have any certain players in mind? Because I think we're going to go through a few, and I'd like to see what the fans have to say in the comments as well.
Yeah, there's going to be some key decisions for the Montreal Canadiens to make going forward here. You have to feel like the options that other teams will look for, similar to the Logan Mailloux trade. The reason they went for Mailloux, he's NHL ready. The Blues had a need on defense. You have to feel those guys like Joshua Roy, Kaiden, and then also Beck, those more NHL type ready guys. Struble, you could maybe kind of throw in there as well, will be some of the prospects looked at the most. That being said, Josh, I'd like to start with both Joshua Roy and even Matheson. I think that that's a combo of players that we could see in a lot of rumors here before the season starts in the lead up to that eventual 2C. As we know, the big thing of why I'd like to start off with Joshua Roy here is, again, because with the addition of Zachary Bolduc, it has made Joshua Roy's position within the organization precarious. Yeah. And I mean, fans of the show will know, like, I love Joshua Roy, but the thing about Zach Bolduc is, like, he's also from Quebec. That's pure coincidence in this case, but being a younger guy, but then has that goal scoring. But then what's separating him right now from Joshua Roy is obviously the physical play that Bolduc brings. Like, we needed a little bit more of that defensive type of guy, like, that can score goals and play physically. Like, Zach Bolduc was just an amazing addition to this team. And Joshua Roy hasn't quite been able to adapt to the physical side of the game. While we know that the skill is there and he can look dangerous out on the ice, that is the big missing link right now. That being said, I'm not ruling out Joshua Roy to come out and have a year. Obviously, 35 points in 47 games last year, 20 goals in the AHL there. Like, pretty good. Fairly close to being a point-per-game player in the AHL, showing a lot of potential. But make no mistake, like, the chips are stacked up against him. Like, if you look at the depth chart, even with guys like additions of Joe Veleno, like, it's hard to even find spots for Kapanen or Beck in the lineup, like, as it is right now, even though we want to see these players coming. So for sure, it is something that we're going to have to look for. I could definitely see that being part of a larger package of course, to kind of get that impact player. I think that 2C is going to cost us a little bit more than Bulldog did in that case. But of course, I think from there, obviously Beck and then obviously guys like Kaiden are going to have tons of value because they're NHL ready. And because we have these prospects, I think that at a certain point, even though we like these guys, there is a point where we do need to kind of cash in those chips for certain positions of need on this team. And Kent absolutely knows that.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And I'm in full agreement with Joshua Watt because I think we've said it before. It feels like the Mailloux situation in a way where it's like, he's just blocked. Like there's no clear path forward because in an ideal world he plays a middle six kind of role. He doesn't really feel like a fourth line player, if that makes sense, right? Because the physicality, not horrible, but it's not often there. He plays better with higher skilled players around him.
Yeah,
and that path is just not there. You're very right. It's kind of blocked by Bolduc. It's like Laine is only on an expiring deal, but is Waugh going to really fill in that middle six? Like, I don't know if I'd consider that near an improvement. This team wants to get better. That's a bit of a downgrade, right? Not to slight Joshua Waugh, but I'm sure everyone would agree. But like, another thing there, like Veleno was on a 1-year deal, I think partially as well to prove, like, give Beck and Kaiden chances to prove that they can play center at the next level. Kapanen played a bit of wing at the next level now, but these guys, when you have both of them, they're both 21 years old. Now, they're born about 6 months apart, but they're still both 21 years old. Kapanen had a good playoffs. I would say he's maybe more NHL ready, but Owen Beck projects as the better player. It's really interesting. And in the long term, it's hard to see both of these guys playing for the Montreal Canadiens. Again, it's just like one of them over the other. So you could feel that maybe one of them could be in a bigger package. And I think this is what it's going to be. Again, it's not just going to be a 1-for-1 like the Mailloux trade. It's going to be someone in a bigger package. But one guy I did want to mention, Jesse, I know you mentioned Jayden Struble, especially with this Arber thing coming up. We don't know like where he sits in because he's like the 6th or 7th defenseman right now. And I think he's pretty darn good. But one last guy I just wanted to mention, maybe get your thoughts as well. I have Sean Farrell here because his second half of the year was so dominant in Laval. The problem is he is 5'9". And on a lot, like, it's not that just the height is a problem. We have Gallagher, we have Caufield, we have Laine Hutson, we drafted LJ Mooney. We like our short kings around here. But Sean Farrell, like, on a team that has so many short guys already, and again, another guy who's kind of that high skill guy, maybe projects better as a middle six guy, I just don't see the fit with Montreal with the current roster construction. But another team, Jesse, I think might be willing to take a swing on him as well. So he's just another guy I wanted to mention. But again, I think all these guys are going to be part of a bigger deal. The question is just who and when. But I don't think, like, I think all these guys we're showing now, I think I'd be shocked if one of them wasn't traded within, I'd say, even the next calendar year or so.
Oh, absolutely. And if not in the next couple of months leading up to this season here, because of course these guys are looking for spots to play and they're good players and they deserve to get the reps in that they deserve. Sean Farrell might be saved by the fact that Owen Beck and Kapanen are a little bit more NHL ready. So I'd suspect them to be picked up a little bit more, which gives Farrell a little bit more time to develop. But even once it is, let's say he does prove that he's NHL ready, he's working, he's not there yet, but he's working his way towards that. Again, even at that point, Josh, like, you have to feel like he's a player that needs to be kind of in your top 6 to be effective, middle 6, to be fair, kind of working from there. But again, with Caufield, it's not just because Caufield that we can't have any other small forward in our lineup at all, but you got to spread it out, which again, it's true in LJ Mooney's case. I think it's true in Sean Farrell's case here as well. That being said, these players still have value. There's a couple years for them to kind of develop and how that kind of shapes out. We know Caufield's obviously a staple of this team here for years to come, but it's going to be very interesting to see. It might be a saving grace that some other prospects kind of get picked up to see where he develops, continue to build up his value, because of late, as we've seen with Emil Heineman, we've done a great job of developing these different prospects where we can now trade them and then get impact players back that are really helping the team. So that's the huge benefit of having all these prospects popping off. But absolutely, Ken, he's going to need to start making some key decisions. You can't let the fruit go bad at a certain sense. You're going to need to eat it, or you're going to need to kind of ship it off at a certain point here. And Kent is very much aware of that.
Yeah, for sure. And like, looking towards the future, it sucks to say that we're going to have to get rid of some of these guys, but at the end of the day, it's a business and that's what has to be done. And maybe you guys have other names. Like, we toss some other names out there, like a Michael Hage. I just don't think it's likely he'll get traded because of his status as a prospect, like, unless it's for something absolutely massive. But even then, I don't want him to be traded. He was born to be a Hab, right? A guy like Adam Engstrom is solid. He's maybe questionable, but like Reinbacher's unlikely, Fowler very unlikely. We didn't mention them, even though they have higher value, but leave your thoughts down below. These are our maybe most likely, but maybe you have someone else. We'd love to hear from you, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment. We want to see your comments, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in every single day, all off season long. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.